Hello, this is Divine Sunshine, and this is the Playground Experience, Sandbox Edition, live Q&A. We have here our Kathy D. She's out there in the field, live at the game, and also we have her own April Williams.
Aloha, can you mute?
You got to be, there we go. All right. Yeah, because when we can't each other's that one. Okay, all right there. April Williams, my other co-host. Yay!
Aloha.
Yeah, so now we usually used to April being out there on the field. We got Kathy D out there looking at the play.
In the literal field.
Literal field, right. I'm not making this up. I know y'all, there you go. You thought I was my imagination like usual. No. So yeah, so here we are. We're talking about the energies that's going on. We know we got the infamous blue moon that's going on this weekend. We know that is the moon that's in Taurus as well. So we got a lot of things that people are telling us that we have to kind of watch out. They're saying that this one is a little bit potent on the emotional side too, from what I've seen and read also. As far as what it is, has anybody seen anything else? I did get some nice email talking about this moon, but before I kind of read some of it, did anybody else get a take on the moon?
Honestly, I haven't read anything or input any information into me this week because I just haven't had time.
Oh, okay.
So this is going to be fun for me because this is how you play confirmation, right? Confirmation from the universe. There's a lot of motivation to keep moving forward, keep going. I feel like even though the heaviness and the impending, what's going on with the election and what's going on with like everybody in this crunch time, there's so much disillusionment that we have just wiped from our own eyes. I feel like there's so much clarity with this moon. There's so much purity, and there's like a no bullshit about it kind of thing. And people are coming out in their power. People are coming out in the process of connecting in a new way with the new them.
Mm-hmm.
We're all shifting into, okay, we can do this. We can do this. It's no longer just I. And then if you are in that state of I, why am I only an I right now? This is a we. We can do this. It's very interesting, the whole flowing of it. I feel like the feminine aspects are also becoming more ripe and just really, really potent and effectiveness, right? So we're not only are we nurturing ourselves, but we're doing it in a way that's structured and functional and sustainable, as opposed to I'm just going to do all these things willy-nilly or seeming so flighty or stuck in that spiritual realm where she doesn't want to come down into play. She's coming to play right now. She's ready to see herself. She's ready. I don't know. I kind of like to be like Storm, where you're hovering above the earth, like Storm and Rogue. I think about X-Men, since you're over there being
I got you.
But just like lightly hovering, but I'm going to let you see my face. I'm going to let you see my strength. I'm going to let you see this grace and how smooth this is. And so, I don't know. I feel a lot of clarity. I feel a lot of ripe, and I feel a lot of momentum to finally get things going. But nothing is cemented. Nothing is cemented, though. But being comfortable with that.
Right. Okay.
So what is it? What happened? Tell me what's going on.
So I really got two things that I seen, and so you can talk about it. Was two messages they gave me about the lunar energy. So this first one is my moon reading that I usually get. They sent me about it, and it was talking about that that this full moon is a blue moon in Taurus, and they say it's known as the magic moon. Okay, and so it is rich with transmutational, creative energy, and magic. So that's what you're feeling like. I'm in my power. I can do some things. I can change myself, stand my ground, those things. So what you're saying is pretty much in alignment with what they said. And they say this lunation is extremely rare, not only the second full moon of the month, but hence it being a blue moon, but it also lands on All Hallows Eve, a very significant date in magical communities. Death and rebirth elements are associated with this mystical moon, helping you to communicate with your spiritual self and the other side. Well, we know around this time the veil is thin. Rather it's blue moon or not, majority of times we know you have oh God, this I didn't forgot this that quick. November the 1st and November the 2nd is the Day of the Dead anyway. So you got first is for children, those who passed on loved ones, and the second is for adults in Hispanic culture. So way of looking at that again is Melanie Beckler. I was watching and listening to her. She said this is a good time to clear up things ancestral too, because of the thin veil. Loved ones are more walking around, and so you could be able to clear, or you might even feel yourself needing to clear that up too. And so they say you might notice some strange occurrences or signs that someone from your past who has moved on is trying to send a message to you. You also may feel very in tune with your intuitive and psychic abilities. You kind of spoke on this. And this moon is in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So that's that love feeling you're feeling, representing the mother and rebirth. It sits in opposition to a Scorpio sun, which is all about transformation and the hidden. The source of creativity. The moon wants you to innovate, to change, and transform. But it's not just asking this of you. It's potent energy. It's ushering in change across society. That goes back to what you're saying about the collective. Okay, that might be something else she's talking about. She kind of telling about her own self. So that's from Jeremy. So that was one. So what's your take on that?
Well, that is totally right on point. That's the one thing I didn't talk about was this full moon. This timing is like stupid funny. Like the things are just hilarious. The stuff that's coming up. For example, my kid's toy turns on in the middle of the night, just randomly, and it says, "Come play this game," or whatever. "Come press this button and see what happens." Basically, "Come play with us." So I press the button, and I kid you, as I pop the thing, lightning and thunder strike off in the distance, and I'm just like, okay, this is hilarious. And I find myself audibly talking to passed away loved ones, where usually, you're in your head about it sometimes, or you're just I'm like actually there. I can smell them. Their name comes up, and then I'm just like, okay, let's have this conversation. What's going on? How's it going? Mm-hmm. This full moon, we felt the full moon. This moon is so strong. We felt the full moon in the new moon. And
right.
We're super accelerated. If you are on Divine Sunshine's team, you are going places.
There you go. You said it. You're right. You're right. This is so true. Yes, we're going places. We are on that one. Kathy D, are you able to talk? What was your take on it?
It's just, they're talking about all of the releasing that's going on too with a full moon in general, and then with this being a magic moon, it's really, I have noticed that's been the biggest thing I have felt is the releasing, and just that good, clean, deep sigh. Whew, I made it. But then there's also been a lot of I haven't been able to sleep. It's like I know I'm asleep, and I tell myself I'm asleep, but I hear every sound. Every sound.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know if my body is trying to astral project or what, but it's like, I know I'm asleep. I feel I'm asleep. But part of me is like, let's go. And I've had it before. It's like a giddy anticipation, but this time it is a very, it's not a giddy, it's not a nervous anticipation. It's a knowing. It's that I know what I know, what I know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those, I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. I know what I got to do. So let's get these few roadblocks out of the way. And I know what those are, and those need to move because I got things to do. And it's a very direct plan. Like that, the road has been cleared. I see the road. I see the plan. I see what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to go, and how it's going to all fall together. And so a lot of the fear of it is gone.
Hallelujah! Woo!
Yes. Okay.
And ladies, you
Yeah.
have to let me know because of being out here literally in the field. If anybody says anything in the chats, because the last time I went to check the chat, that's when I got kicked off. So I don't know. So you'll have to keep me
Okay.
up to date.
Ooh.
Hey,
We will.
Yippee.
We will. We'll make sure.
Yay. Hi. Okay, dokie. Glad to see you. Okay. So this is the next one. Now, this one is from I'm trying to say hi and it's doing whatever it's doing. I don't know what the heck it's doing. It's interesting. I want to say your name, but it ain't allowing me to. But hi to you. The other one I got, and I think it's almost saying the same thing, was from Dr. Harmony, and she was talking about this being a micro blue full moon, and it is shining and a spotlight on anything that is blocking you from bringing your desires into fruition. So the
Absolutely.
Taurus energy, what you say again, April?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Carly's over there shaking her head. Yes, too. It's so
yes.
crystal clear right now.
Yeah, and it says the Taurus energy is about letting go of resistance so that you can experience heaven on earth, which requires you to embody your sacred feminine. You said that self, regardless of whether you are a man or woman. So this is really about you getting in touch with. I know Melanie said about the Taurus energy being earth sign is requiring you to get more in touch with the mother earth energies too. So that kind of aligns with what she's saying there. That means if you let go of your resistance, it will assist you with bringing abundance into your material world. In addition, Scorpio's sacred sensual self may have you expressing your emotions as you speak your truth. Take back your power and gracefully rise up in the full feminine power. So that's what she said that it brings up too, as well. Melanie Beckler said the same thing. I watched her as well. That saying about us taking the power and that we have to watch our energies, especially with what's going on, as you say, in the world with the election and all that stuff. That we have to really kind of watch it. That we can get highly emotional. And she gave some points like instead of when we feel those moments, like Kathy had asked me, how was the moon doing me? And I said I felt a lot of anger, a lot of judgmental, and some things that came up. It's like, oh, we going back to revisit that again. So a lot of that stuff was kind of like coming out as well. And so she was saying like you have to concentrate on the positive things. So like if you're saying, oh, this place is junky, which is not true. But anyway, I just use an example. Oh, this place is disorganized. What am I gonna do? I'm so tired of coming in this room and still look the same thing. So instead of saying that, she said concentrate on the things like, ooh, I can't wait to be in a more cleaner, more organized. I can see the space with everything that I want in it, that this would be like a place I could get away. So she said you have to ask yourself in the next breath, what are some things that you can be doing that will get you to the space that you actually feel that you'll be in your truth. So I had to talk about, well, some things I can do. Can't get furniture right now, but maybe I can clear off this desk space. That's one thing that maybe can help to clear my mind. So that's another thing that she was saying that you could do is concentrate on the positive. When the negative thing comes up, then you have to stop and then ask yourself, what's the positive in that moment too as well? Although it's a lot of emotions. She said we'll stir up a lot of emotions within you too.
I'm finding that the emotions that are coming up, even if they're similar to what we've experienced before, I feel like there's a more matured integration of it. Like, okay, this is it, but it's not. I can like you were saying earlier, the word transmutation is key. It's like, oh, I handle this part of myself. Oh, I understand that part and what we're going to do, and we're going to nurture, and we're going to convert that. The dance is becoming so much more fluid. We're not thinking about it as hard or as
True.
judgmentally, right? Because there was
Right.
always, oh, why did I even go there again? It's like, why shame myself? It happens, you know. I
Right.
started in yoga class. It happens. Just kidding.
It-
Do we even do yoga classes anymore? Maybe online. Nobody knows. You didn't have to tell the class, April. Nobody knows it's a distance yoga class.
Yeah, no, yeah, I love my yoga class. I started that when I was like extremely young doing yoga. I didn't know why I was loving it so, but that's like, again, it just helps you in so many ways when you do your yoga, your practice. It helps to center you, and then it also helps me to stretch my body too as well. I can feel
Such
like
a
when
good
I have.
angle. You look hot. She looks gorgeous.
Um, I want to tell you guys, talking about the
Uh-huh.
yoga class and stuff. Um, the interesting thing is, as we're letting go of what we don't need anymore, what doesn't serve us, and things are coming through for us that we do need. I got an email about, because of COVID and all this stuff, that my gym membership had been extended when I thought I would have to,
Okay.
end it. So I was able to sign back up for the gym. When I signed back up for the gym, they were like, "Oh, you're our paid." So it's things like that are happening right now. I got a letter in the mail that life insurance, that supposedly because a premium wasn't paid, it got missed in the mail with everything going on. Because of COVID, they gave me an extension, and I can pay it this month and keep life insurance on myself. And it's just, all this stuff is just, it's falling into place just as I need it, just when I need it.
Right. True. That exactly, because that's like, even like yesterday, I didn't tell you, I was kind of upset about my student, and then I was saying to myself, I was like, oh, I should tell Kathy D about the student, because I know you had really told me some more information about him. I was like, no, I'm not going to bring her down with Debbie Downer information, so I just let her go on to sleep. And then lo and behold, she's online late at night. She's like, why is everybody up? And I said, well, look at God. Look at how Source did this. And she came up, she's like, what's going on? And I told her about the student, and we talked. And I was like, I didn't want to tell her. I was like, I really wanted to talk to her. But I was like, I'm not going to bother. And Source just said, here's Kathy D. Here she is. Bye. Drop her off. Dropped her right off. You wanted her? You want Kathy D? Here's Kathy D.
Well, whoever's been wanting me between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning, please either call me or stop. Okay, because I'm tired of being wide awake. I got an hour and 6 minutes of sleep last night.
I'm not sure what's up with that either. Like full on awake, full on like integral. It's almost like a conversation relationship. It's like, hey, I'm awake. Clearly, I haven't had any stimulants. I haven't had caffeine for like almost 2 years, really. I mean, I haven't had it a couple glasses here and there just because I love the art of a perfect French press. Anyway, getting off that fresh milk, I don't want my baby like
too
this.
much information. Okay.
but it's just been so intense to have such clarity and being so awake. Like there's no, oh, I'm kind of tired. I have the illusion that I could go to sleep at any moment. No, you're just full on awake, full having the experience.
True. And just conversating, this chatting it up, just chatting away with yourself.
11 seconds left.
And then go outside and try to ground or try to calm, because I've been having the power energy surges again with the hot hands and feet and stuff.
Okay.
Walk outside, go to ground, go to calm. Dear Lord, it's like I get a following. I get people talking to me from everywhere. I'm like, really? I just want to sleep. I just, please sleep. And it's
spiritual payoff that comes with it. I really do feel that there's a spiritual break under zero.
Oh yeah.
To the point of
It's the spiritual. Say it one more time, April. What'd you say? I was out there on the field with the coach.
There's a some kind of spiritual payoff or payout for that when you are a vessel for God like that. Not when things are dark or crazy. This is not what I'm talking about. If you have that kind of issue, that's a different story. But if you're flowing with that grace and that love and that light, even if it seems like a nuisance at the time, it's like she was saying earlier, there's a flow with it and a grace that suddenly comes to it, even though it's like kind of hilarious. Like the inconveniences are kind of like, they're not irritating as much as they could have been. And it's funny how it's happening. Like we're at a place where you're amused a little bit, but not so much that you want it to happen consistently, and happy for the grace on the ease of the other side, because there's so much other things that are flowing. Like I'm in the process and the flux of moving and all this other stuff. And so it's really interesting to be in such a place or such a high state.
Yeah, because even when I have my talks early in the morning, I don't wake up. I figure I'll be tired. Now, if I'm that worried, that I usually wake up kind of tired. But there's talks in the morning like that, you just wake up and like, okay, I'm up. I'm energized. It's just like, yeah, let's talk. And then I'm energized afterwards. But I know I only got maybe 2 or 3 or whatever, like after the hours of sleep. But I don't, feel it. And even I might say later on, I want to make up for that time. It's like, no, I'm up now. It's too late. It's too late. I can't make up that time. It's all with. I don't want it at all when I'm doing that. I don't want any naps. Not at all afterwards. So no. But these energies right here, what we're getting prepared for. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we feel some kind of readiness about this election too, as well, about what might be happening. I think that's on all our minds. If we want to just get down to the nitty gritty truth of it, how is the things going to turn out to be? That's a little bit of our humanness, that's kind of like, okay, holding on to that. But we also know that there's other things that we're to preparing and getting ready for ourselves too, because we all been through the twin flame community, has been telling at these last 3 months towards the end, get yourself ready. So that's another thing that might be causing us to, have those 3 a.m. conversations, or again with the veil thinning, that would be another excuse as to why a lot of them are approaching and say, well, let me whisper this in your ear. Let me help you get ready this way. Let me give you this direction. Let me give you this thing as well. So I'm thinking that is all in this preparedness that we just getting prepared for spiritually as well, for what's coming up next. We don't know what it is, but we can feel it empathically, like we're getting prepared for something. We don't know the good, the bad, and the ugly, but we do know we're getting prepared for something personally and collectively in the world.
It's definitely clearing the way. And part of that for me, I mean, I'm clear. I'm just like ding, ding, ding. Yes to everything you're saying. But it has been this whole, the system is dismantling in terms of how we're seeing that the non-functioning governments, well, they're functioning, but they're not fully progressive or inclusive or just even sexually balanced, right? And so as the feminine is taking this hold, there's this sweep, but it's almost like a nurturing sweep, and it's clearing house like a mom would, in a way that it's getting rid of all the superfluous and actually bringing things to light and exposing that which is no longer needed. But it's also it's also that person, whoever just entered the chat, totally threw me off. I think that's not a real person. Okay, so it's clearing house in a nurturing way, but it's doing it so that everyone can get the come up at the same time, right? Those that are ready, and those that are not, they're getting sifted, but they're not being lost. They're being caught, but it's just a matter of filtering. Like, I know we've all cut out superfluous relationships with individuals that weren't balanced with us. We've also dealt a lot with like setting ourselves up for healthier streams of income, or things that make us feel more stable, but in a way that flows with our morality. Because we spent the last almost year dealing with what's important and what's not important. And so very few people are hanging on to bullshit right now. There's some, but they're falling away. right? Because it's not a sustainable way. Keeping up with the Joneses is it's kind of like an obsolete system. And so I also think that the hands are going to change in terms of music, who's coming up in terms of what real artistry is. We're going to get back into like the actual beauty of humanity, like our gifts, our talents. We're going to start caring and uplifting the children more. I think the focus is going to be, because as much as we're caring for our elderly community and we're keeping them safe and healthy, we're realizing that we're given these perfect systems. So how can we nurture that?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's no longer just about the gimme, 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 what's with me. The mother's stance is what's with my children, what's with my grandchildren, what's with my great-grandchildren before they're even conceived.
Right.
So I definitely hear her calling. I definitely hear Mother Earth just stepping in through the individuals and setting people straight. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I'm glad we're here together.
Kathy D, did you want to chime in?
It's, you know, as you're talking about things changing hands, you're starting to see and hear people talk about before it was always the convenience. How quick can we get it? How quick can we do it? How, you know, the fastest, easiest, quickest way, you know, we're going to air fry it. We're going to, you know, microwave it. We're going to zap it. We're going to, you know, all this kind of stuff. And now you start, since this time we've been in quarantine, so many people have talked about pulling out old recipes that were family recipes and cooking them. And then you get on the conversation of how good food tasted from the garden and wanting to garden. And I literally, I mean, we went and looked at a house this last week, and that was really one of the first things that, I mean, the backyard was absolutely gorgeous, had fruit trees, and it was just absolutely beautiful. But there was an area for a garden. And I told the girls, oh, look, we could have a garden. And, you know, so more and more people are thinking of these things, and we're going back to this. So, yeah, things are changing hands. People are seeing, I mean, the veil is extremely thin anyway. We know this just because of this time of year. And it is extremely thin on what people are seeing. Now, I think there's a lot of fear mongering still going on.
It's so funny and it's so subtle, and I'm so sick of the manipulation because they mind game you. It's what'd you just say? It was fear mongering coupled with not catfishing, but what is the thing that not cold shouldering, gaslighting.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah, it is, and it's crazy right now with everything that's going on, because you're seeing this change. You're seeing this turn to beauty, you know, going back to nature and appreciating these things. And like, I have to tell you, with that house, the backyard was absolutely gorgeous. The house wasn't worth what they were asking for, but you know, it's like I still want that house just because the nature part of it was so unbelievably gorgeous that it's like we can deal with a house, you know, kind of thing. But it's those kind of things that are changing. You're seeing it in so many people. The masks, it's cut back so much on people wearing makeup and things like that, and going back to a natural beauty, because you can. If you've tried to wear makeup with one of these little suckers on, you wind up with it everywhere and then some.
I got a funny story about that. Oh, it's not really that big of a story, Kathy. Anyway, I don't wear makeup naturally, just generally. I just take really good care of my skin. I've been making my own skincare products for 20 years because I know they've been trying to kill us through these subtle little things. Anyway, because the medical industry, it's a whole nother playground. We're supposed to be having fun in the Sandbox. So I decided, oh yeah, I'm going to get makeup. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be all cute and feel all good. And I did it. And it took me like, I don't know, I spent 20 minutes, which is a concentrated, a loose 5. Okay, anyway, I put the makeup on, but it was lipstick. So I was proud because even when I did wear makeup, I never wore lipstick. Okay. So I put it on and then I went out into the world And I forgot until I got to the store, and I was like, why did I even bother? My mom told me that they have face masks that have a clear shield now, so you can show off your lips.
I say, show off your smile. So yeah, so so I don't know what Hi Beloved well said, ladies. Mama knows what's up and been forced silent too long. Papa says so too. Okay, that one.
That's
Okay.
cute. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's been sad. Yeah. Well, if you talk about my mother from the thing of Mother Earth, yeah. So that one, but yeah, you can't do the makeup thing. No, you can't do the makeup thing underneath that. For one, makeup diva. I know that just messes up, and that is true. That has got me to the point where I just wear no makeup. I was like, what's the point? You can't see in my face or my mouth anyway. You just see from my eyes on up, and that's it. So what's the point? So I became comfortable in, just making sure it made me go and take care of my skin more, be more, finding ways that I don't have to. Some blemishes that I have because I don't wear the makeup is cleared up itself. Yeah. Has cleared up too. So, I'm in total agreement.
I'm being mugged.
You're being mugged
by my child for my coat. Say hi, Helen.
Hi, Helen.
You've been mobbed.
All right, Ma, you can fend for yourself. You have no sleeves on. No. Right. That's all right. I'm young. You going to the other side of the rainbow. I gotta live. No.
Ouch. Ow.
Well, she has zero body fat.
What
Like,
she saying like that? Don't I got to do something?
I was like, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. That little chill. Have you ever read the 4-Hour Work? Have you heard about the 4-Hour Work Week or the 4-Hour Body? The guy, he's an author, and he taught about how to do a 4-hour work week.
Oh, okay.
It's really ingenious. But he also has a 4-hour body, and the main way to spike up your metabolism and to get your circuit going is to submerge yourself or take a cold shower or submerge yourself in the ocean or a pool for 15 minutes a day, because your whole body has to pick up temperature and regulate in order to keep your body warm or comfortable.
Okay.
So what it does is it actually gets your whole system moving if you can make yourself take that cold shower, which I can't. But I can get in the ocean and and I can deal with that. So.
Okay. It kind of kickstarts the metabolism and everything, and start burning up fat because it's trying to keep you warm and stuff like that.
So at least 15 minutes.
Okay. Wow. Whoa. I heard about using cold shower for something else, but
maybe that's what I need to do to sleep. Drop my body temperature really low.
Yeah.
Hey, that helps. Sometimes I like that, to be all warm and cuddly when it's cold and everything.
Yeah.
Start talking about warm and cuddly, and then I'd have to go back and take another shower. So that would be, I wouldn't get any sleep because I'd be in the shower the whole time.
I'll be right back. Hold on a second, Dad.
And for Kathy D's that was a visual of her showering all night long. Whatever you want for Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday. What about kids?
You want Kathy D to wear for Halloween? A shower?
The shower, right. Yeah, one of my students that use freaky. I was like, what I heard him say, where are we going with this? I thought April, I could hear say Freaky Friday. I said, now, has she possessed one of my students to say Freaky Friday?
Oh, man.
Where is that from?
I love it.
Just out of the blue. I was like, okay. I was like, well, why would you use that word? What did that mean? It was total opposite. It didn't even fit in the conversation, but I was like, okay. I must needed to hear that to break some momentum.
Well, at least you didn't say, I saw it on your web show the other Friday.
Now that would be very scary. No. We don't want that. We don't want that at all happening at all. But yeah, Go on.
Miss Divine Sunshine, I'd like some insight on my DM or DF. Do you think I have one? What is my inner aura like?
Oh,
Like,
so
baby,
cute.
oh,
Curious
Lord,
about your
find out.
aura, baby.
A
Lord,
whole new science lesson just opened up in your class.
sure would have. Well, little kitties, gather around as I give you the story about a divine masculine and a divine feminine.
I'm going to give everybody a card, and I want you to look at the picture and tell me what you see and feel.
Right. They're like, what? What are you teaching my child? As a parent goes past, they say, what is he talking about? Divine what? Mm-mm. No, we need our job. So some of them, they're not, some of them are ready, but they're not ready. Not we have to have us a separate secret school, like back in the Egyptian times for that, for them.
Well, it's like layers. Like I've been thinking about, because I talked to my son about it because I notice him noticing, right?
Okay.
So look at people's energies and these vibrations. I love it because I was one of those kids that was like, hey, I'll be with anybody. And he's just like super discerning.
Okay.
Friendly, but discerning. He got the Capricorn curve. So
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But he'll assess someone's energy and then he'll like look at me and I'll be like, okay, so what are you seeing or what are you experiencing? You know, just to kind of make him a little aware of it when he allows himself. Because sometimes it's all just like, oh, I'm playing with a truck. You know, that's how they are. The kids, they love to play around with their children, but also introducing the esoteric along with the concrete, just so that they can have a bigger spectrum of reference for their realities. Because the newer ones that come in, you're supposed to make it easier for them for flow, right?
Okay.
Family line stuff that's clearing out is that stuff that held us back, whether it be conscious or subconscious. I was talking about how the ancestral stuff is clearing out. The stuff that was holding us back, be it conscious or subconscious, we passed down, and how it's opening up. And I'm sure Bonita is also working on this. I need to get together with her. But creating not necessarily a curriculum, but the styling of integrating the esoteric teachings in with the other teachings. And just, you know, it's almost like they should learn a little bit of everything that we learned in college. They should be learning as kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of the things like basic psychology. I think I think understanding your own psychology, your own referencing yourself, and then others, so you can learn others on how they reference themselves, right? And then whether they morally agree or if it's an emotional agreement, right? You know, how they can really allow for the great spectrum, right? The rainbow children, right? That's how they're coming in. They're coming in with all different kinds of shapes and perspectives, but they're all still part of the same rainbow. And I think they all get that. Whereas the older people that are teaching it, they want to keep it separate because for some reason the ego was attached to that as a part of safety.
Right.
But we're at a point where we don't really need that. We just need the basic things, and to know who's like sane and in their body and who's not. Right?
It sounds like to me when you're talking about these kids are really coming in with a little more stronger discernment than probably we have. They just automatically trust instinctive their intuition, or you want to call it instinctively, whichever way you want to do it, that, you know, hey, I feel what I feel and I feel it. You know, it's no excuse to it or for it, because that's what I'm feeling at this moment, and I trust my feelings. Before then, it was like our generation and back, it's a lot of questioning. You know, did I feel it? Well, no, maybe I imagined it. No, maybe that's not it. And I think that these, you know, they have. I was watching the show called Married at First Sight, and it was interesting. One of the couples is Woody. I know y'all.
He's real serious about it too. Just watching Married.
Right. So well, you know what? Technically, we have already through spirit been married at first sight because the spirit already picked our beloved divine counterpart. So it was already destined. So we almost like that. I did a whole show about that, about how we are married at first sight in the spiritual sense as divines. But anyway, I digress. I come back. So I was listening to, looking at the couple Woody and I forgot what her name. Her name Brianna or something. Anyway, so he knew right off the bat that he loved her. I mean, he was just like, he's like, I just love you. And she's like, I haven't even done anything. They had just gotten married. She hadn't done anything. He said, I'm just happy. And all through the show, he kept that rhythm of things and saying, I'm just happy, I'm in love with you. That, and so I know even the host they had from ET, his name's Kevin. He even has stated, like, you kept true to form all throughout the whole process of them married, because they were supposed to be married for 8 weeks, but because of COVID, it lasted longer, twice the time. Yeah. So they had to stay in the relationship a little bit longer. And he still stayed true to form, and both of them, she had to get a little sold on it. But my point is that he didn't care about how it was, how he was expressing himself. He was very open. And, even the guy, Kevin, was like, you make me look bad in front of my wife, because he's like, you're just so open to love like that. And I was like, I was listening to him, and I was like, to me, they were like almost twin flameish to me as well. And I was like, I'm listening to him and saying, he has no filter. It's just like, I love her. It's no excuse. I don't need to explain why I love her from first sight. We married. I mean, just soon, right after they got married, he stated that he loved her. And she's like, okay. But he knew within himself that he had loved her. And I was just saying, this is like a real purest form. Like, I know back in the day, they would pretty much tease him as a guy, stating that he loved her just so soon. And he didn't feel pressure. He didn't care what anybody said about that. So I thought that was interesting how this new, he's 26. So they were young. That's coming in here. And I can just pick up, do the energy of how things are shifting and changing in these new waivers that's coming in, as well as when it comes to love. It doesn't have come with all that biasness and all that extra boundaries and things coming up that, I don't think it's right for me to express, because I'm a dude and I'm supposed to let her win me over, and I got to be hardcore before I fall in love. It's just like, he just knew off the bat. He's like, yeah. And he didn't care how sensitive he looked to anybody. So I'm in agreement with you saying these new ones that's coming in, they're got a whole different sense about it. It doesn't care about biasness or what the world or society put as labeling as far as how they feel. They're true to their feelings. They're true to how they feel innately, and they're not really answering to anybody else. And I can sense that that's what these new waivers are coming in as. They set their pace, and they said they're their own leader.
I'm sorry, guys. A proud mama moment. I'm watching Helen work on a player on the side, so I keep dodging around to see her.
Okay. What is that? What she said, right?
That's very sweet. That's very sweet. Yes. In terms of keeping your journey to yourself, you're doing exactly as your spirit is telling you. When you're guided to share that with others or do anything like that with others, you'll know it'll happen. So there's no rush or attachment to that. But if you're feeling called to it, share. Do you have people around you that you can speak with candidly about what your experience is? Because that tends to help it accelerate. And it also, I think, buffers any intensity, right? Because this road, the spiritual journey, can be very, very intense from time to time. And when you have other shoulders, it makes the load a bit lighter. It helps confirm and help you feel a little less crazy from time to time. It can be seriously amazing. But I'm glad that you're open. I'm glad that you're enjoying. I'm glad that you found people that you trust as part of your guides. That's a big deal too, because some people do it blind. Some people do it blind. They don't want to take that help, which is that old masculine, unbalanced.
No, I can do it. I don't need no help. I don't need, that's ego of doing that.
Now, with that being said, on the
way too either. I think there's some divine feminists out there that don't want to do it either. Don't want to help either. Because they figure they're in victim mode. Nah, I'm all right being the victim. I'm gonna stay this way. I don't need help. I think that's also another aspect. I don't think it's always the divine masculine either. Uh-huh.
And also, I think we're seeing too now, we have to be careful when we are seeing that, I don't need this and I can do that kind of attitude. We have to kind of evaluate it and find out where it is ego and when it is our strength. Because, like I said, things have been coming through really strong on, it's like a clear road. And it's like I can see it, and it's not an ego thing. It's a release. It's like a freedom. It's like an excitement that I see these things happening. I see my business taking off. I see my family being good. I see myself being safe and being comfortable and being in this place of true confidence, not false confidence, not some kind of barrier that I'm blocking people from. It's where it's open, and it's just these ideas are just coming so fast and furious. I can't write them down fast enough. Opposed to that ego, I don't need you, pushing people away. This is like, I see all these things happening, and I can do this on my own. But I want to bring these people in. I want to make this not a me thing, but a we thing.
Yeah, and so you have to also, this is the litmus test I usually use if I can share with people. I'll give you a little bit of information about what's happening with me in the DM, and if I get this kind of like a feeling when I talk, and you kind of skip over what I just said, and you like, well, how's the wet? How those bears doing? Okay, you don't get any more information from me. That's it. But if you sit and they park in it, like, oh, okay. Oh yeah, oh, that's interesting. I find there's actually a back and forth like a tennis match. They're fine, because you'll see that there are some people, they're just not ready for that. I've heard also when I started the journey about some of it, because you symbolize such pure love, also a symbolism of love. Some of those people that's kind of in that woundedness about love, and that closed off with their heart chakra, those conversations, when you have them, and it doesn't matter. And I've had conversations with people that I know that they say they're on the spiritual path, and they have. And when I bring up the conversation about me and the DM, it all comes out in the wash that you're not as divine as I thought you are. Because if you don't sit there, as I call it, sit there and park and really listen to what I'm saying, and you interact, and you also counteract, and we have a dialogue about it, that lets me know you're ready. But if I see that the energies drops, or you just leave it and change the subject to something else, that lets me know, don't bring that. They're not ready for it. Okay. And I'm not going to be upset with that person, but they're just not ready for it. So, you'll know if you feel like it, and you find yourself sharing, and they don't react the way that you can feel in your gut or in your intuition in some ways, that they're not seem like they're on board with it, you stop the conversation. I'm with April. Sometimes people have to hear that so they can be able, there's a healingness to it. It brings more intensifying or magnifying of the situation. Sometimes you have to do that because you need that breakthrough too, to say, okay, I know you might not be on board, but you need to hear this information. There's family members that I've had to have that conversation with, and I felt them doing like this. And I was like, no, because you need to understand that this is somebody that's important in my life. So there's other things that you'll find yourself that you have to. But again, you do a litmus test with everybody. You can tell it when they do that conversation with you, and you talk, and there's a fork in the road, or is that feeling that say, like a needle across the record. Is it, or you hear crickets in the conversation. That's it. You change and talk about how those bears doing, because they're not ready for it. So that's another way for me. That's how I always know that they're not ready to hear anything about the DM or the DF or whatever kind of situation as well. So that's just my 22 cents on that. That's how I usually test out and see if people are ready to hear me.
And you don't have to go so deep, so fast if you're testing the water. Because it's like you're not converting someone to your religion, for lack of better words. You're just seeing how spiritual are they. and where can we go with this
Mm-hmm.
part, right? And then, because my name just means to open, right? So I take that as an invitation and as my, birth given duty to open the hearts, minds, and spirits of those I encounter, right? So when I do that, I'm in a state of hearing their flow and taking them as far as they want to go on my river, but my river's moving much faster than theirs. I mean, that's not a great example, but I think you understand what I'm kind of saying in terms of energy movement. Like, they want to move a little bit faster, but they have to take some of that stuff off. And so all I do is be that reflection, just as everything is a reflection to us about our world and our environment and how we stay us. And that's why I love not talking to people for a long time about any of this, because I needed to be strong in what I believed and understood, so that when someone opposed or came in with something different that just didn't vibe with me, I gave myself permission to say, that's okay. We don't vibe on that, but we do vibe on this. And so how does that work?
True.
So that there's a subtle dance with it. But yeah, a lot of people, it starts to trigger a lot of twin flame specifically triggers all the core wounding. so even just having a conversation with someone who's not a twin flame could trigger all the core wounding based on the age and like how stubborn a person is about their belief structure or system. Because I can hear about a bunch of other structures and systems, but mine is my own.
Agree. Yeah. Totally agree on that one. She said, great convo. I hope that this reaches other folks on the journey. Yes, I do too. So make sure you like, share, and so people can know as well about the good stuff that we are doing over here. But yeah, and also, like, I always believe, those that are supposed to hear, they hear it. They'll get drawn here. Source will bring them. If there's something in there, I get that a lot of times on there. I needed to hear this. I was just passing by. This is the first time it came on my feed. I've never seen you before. So the playground experience, we've gotten that. And, when it's time, again, is it Socrates or Plato, or is it which one that says when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So when they're ready, we'll pop up on that time feed for them to be able to hear this as well. But yeah, you're 1,000% on what you just said there. Like you said, regardless, just us being us, it doesn't matter what the subject is. Sometimes we just bring that out, like, where that come from, or we'll see that, as divines when we go to the store. You could be in the line and the cashier tell you all their whole life story. And you're like, I just came in here for some Doritos and some guacamole. Oh my gosh, he's pouring the whole life story to me. Where's this coming from? We just naturally bring that out of them, the emotions of things, like they need that healing there. I've even had one of them say, I don't know why I even told you that. I was like, I know, but you don't need to. You don't need to know why you felt the need to do that. So we're going to bring out that, as David said, that sacredness anyway, that dance out of them. Some of them ready and some of them are not ready, like you said.
So if you identify, I guess, because we were switching over, depending on where you are, we're switching over from divine masculine, divine feminine, to alpha and omega as their energetics, right? So they're on the same scale. They're just going like this. And when you find that balance, your balance, right? Because my balance is more over here and his balance is more over here. And then when we come together, we have our own thing, right? So everybody has their own thing. When you are asking someone to challenge what they already identify as the masculine or that alpha and feminine and omega, you're asking them to shift and move on the scale that they may or may not be ready for.
True.
And so if you find yourself entering a lot of like opposition or, conflict when you're just wanting to express yourself, it's a matter of being too cold and hot or too hot and cold, too alpha in an omega situation or too omega in an alpha situation. And so I, just as a person and out of survival, have learned matching. or this balance. And I take a lot of theater, right? You learn that balance with the other person. And if you can get that within yourself and know when you're shifting, you can dance better with others. Whereas if you're coming from it from an alpha perspective, that distorted alpha perspective, which is what society has been run on, they talk about war and battle and all this stuff. They talk about it in terms of health. They talk about it in terms of wealth. They talk about it like this. When in the more omega aspect, it's more altruistic. It's more we all have these resources. They can be shared. It's not about acquiring as much as possible. It's how much is this that we've all acquired? How is it best utilized for all of us to have that higher life or that better set of nutrition or that better health, right? And that's how Earth is shifting. That's where she's shifting from, because right now I'm going to use man in terms of human, right? When you go from a human perspective, we've been treating the Earth as if we own and control it when we're actually of the Earth, right? Want to really work it, the system of being human, you flow with the Earth, you flow with the other species, you get a balance, and from there you can start to make more art and music and technology and creativity that flows and it's only sustainable if it actually flows with the mother. And so that's the part where I guess our human species is evolving past our teenage. We're getting into that parent, or we're getting into our adulthood where we're like, okay, I want to have this sustainable relationship with my parents because I know I'm going to have children. How does that work? We want to get into a sustainable species pattern. We don't want any more mass die-offs. We don't want any more of this, energetics with the pandemic or the exploitation with like the kids at the border or any of those like deep crazy sex ring things, pedophilia rings and all that mother bullshit. That's over with, right? Because we want to be sustainable as a species here on our mother. And how do we do that? Well, we make sure everyone's taken care of. We make sure that everyone has clean food and water and safety. And then once we've got that and that starts to iron out, then we start to get into the technology of it. Then we start to get into the arts and the music and the flow. And our society is going to advance leaps and bounds. Just like when twins get together, their energetics just set off fireworks for the spiritual communities to expand and evolve. And then all the kids come in with a higher vibration. All of them as we speak.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
All Hallows Eve tip.
Yes.
I wanted to plant this seed because I thought about this as we step into this Dia de los Muertos on the blue moon energetics. We have the ability to bring out the best of all of our ancestors in our blood. Like we can activate these in ourselves in this timeline, or all timelines, really, all dimensional realities, really. We can activate this collectively. We just need to now make a choice. You have a conscious choice to make. And it takes each moment and each breath and forgiveness and allowing and surrender and flow. And it takes as much omega as you can possibly muster with the boundaries and respect that the alpha sets in place. And that's the inner space that I would like us to step into, right? Because we are amazing. We wouldn't be here right now if we didn't have our ancestors that provided that space, but we can slap off what we don't need and keep what we really do need and do desire for our future.
So what would we do to go about to step into that space, as you said?
So there's a lot of work that I did to get to this point to even be able to have this conversation, right?
Okay.
So I will start to put out a series of more material. I'm also working on some classes on the side. I've just been having a lot to do with moving and all that stuff.
Okay.
But in the meantime, trust your intuition, open up, create an ancestor altar. We've done all these things in series of our shows. We've done a lot of different meditations. We're talking about stepping into bringing forth the best of our ancestors out of ourselves into the now. Okay, and methods to do so. I know Kathy D's got some stuff that she'll have for us after that, my little spiel. But you get into these meditations where you unlock and you open and you unzip your DNA.
Okay.
And you start to appreciate and say, okay, ancestors, what are the best parts of you that were, let's say, spiritually gifted? Let's say strong and resilient, or was a good seafarer for all I know, like good at navigation, good at discernment. Like just appreciating these gifts. Now, some of these things aren't like hormone cascades or anything super technological, right? Because you can get into the specifics of it, but that breaks down manifestation flow sometimes. Like if you want to get into the nitty gritty of this ATC junction, I want that to break down and I want this other one to open. That's a little bit too technical. That's a little bit of my nerdiness. I'm sorry, I just showed you. But we're not going that deep. We're just going into qualities. We're going into emotions. Like if you had ancestors that survived slavery, those are some strong ass people. Right. Now, you forgive and you open up and you release that pain for them through tears, through heat, through whatever comes through. You alchemize that like that big Taurus donut. And then you bring in that light or that love that repairs that worthiness. We are humans too. We are beautiful too. We are sacred as well, right? We are bits of the cosmos brought here and made manifest. You're bringing in, after opening up and releasing and acknowledging the trauma, the acknowledging of any sexual abuse, the acknowledging of any misuse and mistreatment of the body through eating poorly and all this other stuff, just being given scraps at XYZ, right? Also, spousal abuse, any kind of sexual abuse, any kind of any males in your system that felt like they weren't allowed to have emotions. So you have parts of you that are afraid to let yourself even have the emotions. You get to go through all that. You can do it. I mean, I know I'm saying it out as quickly and as simply, but it's actually kind of a complex process, right? That could take months. If you want to do simple things, just make it like, okay, I know that XYZ was a good teacher. I want to open up my ability to be a good teacher. And then just that can come in. That's a lot simpler than doing all that other stuff. But don't worry, there are people out there that are doing that for all of us, because we're all one, just as we are individual. So there are people that do energetic work for a lot of people, as well as long as you're doing it for yourself, it helps speed that process and takes an easier load on somebody else.
I got you.
If that makes sense, it's almost like a garbage dump process with the earth, as within, so without, right? So we send all our garbage to one place. The earth has to then collect it and correct it and heal it and use microorganisms and all that stuff and break it down to make it earth again. So we can take our little bit of garbage and compost it ourselves and create earth. Or you can send it off and ship it for somebody else to do it. But at the same time, it's easier and it's better on the load, the system, if you compost as much as you can yourself energetically.
Gotcha.
That will change your vibration and anchor it in, right? Remember to seal it with love. Remember to kind of keep your container a little bit sacred there afterward, because it's going to be easy to fill that up with what it left if you don't fill it up with some love and light.
Gotcha.
Or whatever it is you want to cultivate, be that wealth, abundance, freedom, XYZ. So that was kind of like a rough how to do that.
No, good. I can see how that would be able to work. Kathy D, did you want to add anything to that?
Something else you can add to that, once you've connected and you've picked out, so-and-so was a good teacher, or, however, and you want to bring that in, you can do what's called automatic writing. And that's where you go into a meditative state and you invite them in to fill in those blanks. And sometimes if it's an ancestor that passed on when you were younger but had a significant part in your life, you can do the automatic writing. I've done the automatic writing with my mom. I lost my mom when I was 28. And then, going through becoming a life coach and a hypnotherapist and all of that, it's added a new level to things, opened my eyes about things. And so I've done the automatic writing again with her. filling in blanks, answering questions. You can even, if there's a question you need to know, you can write the question down at the top of your page. You go into that meditation and you can write. If you have trouble going into meditation, you can even go as far as going into a trance state, and you can do that in a hypnotic state, and we can do the automatic writing through that too.
Oh, that's cool. I really like that.
I like that too.
The handwriting is even different. Like, I can't spell my way out of a wet paper bag. I will confess that is my weakness. It's just nothing that's ever, like, you know, clicked with me. But when I do the automatic writing and I'm channeling my guardian angel and things like that, my handwriting's different, my spelling's different, my vocabulary is different. It's completely different.
Awesome. Awesome. You can also, since we're talking about automatic writing and stuff. Oh, Benita came. She said, hey.
Hey, I don't know what the dog was about, but it wouldn't let me stop putting dogs up there. So I don't know what that is. Okay, anyway. Spirit knows, knowing Benita, she know what the white dog means. Moving on.
You can do it for your highest self if you feel really lost. But what came through was also make sure you have protections and boundaries when you come back, right? Because spiritual energy can attach to you if you're not, and it can seep its way in if you leave yourself super open. Because sometimes when people are going through pain or trauma, they want to leave the body. Well, guess what? There are plenty of things that want to be in body. so if you check it out, somebody check it in. Just say it. So just beware of that when you go into that. It's nothing super scary. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying, know your boundaries, know yourself, and call your power back, call your energy back if you feel like you've lost a piece of you. And you can do that for other experiences as well.
And that's something we need to be doing right now with this moon, with this veil being so thin, with everything. We need to make sure that our shields are up, that we're protected, that our children are protected, that our DMs are protected, or DFs, however, you know, and family is protected. If they haven't gotten to that state of understanding yet, you know, we kind of need to step in and do that right now. As time's gone by, where it started off being for individual bubbles, and now the bubbles are starting to merge. The bubble with my DM and I have merged, and then the kids are still attached, but the cord between the bubbles where they're attached have gotten much bigger. I mean, they're like, we're talking, you know, went from like spaghetti to like this, where the kids have attached, and it's flowing so easily through that. I mean, it's like I start to put my bubble on myself, and before it would be I'd have to call them in, and now they're like running in, and it's like, wait a minute, let me finish mine, you know. So it becomes that ongoing thing, but we really have to work on practicing that shielding up, especially right now.
Yeah, I've heard another reader had stated that, you know, to be able to do protection around ourselves and our divine counterparts during this time. So that's been pretty much a prevalent thing. So you really kind of confirm what I heard for them still. You know, again, shielding up still doesn't mean that you're now preventing them not to get the lesson. They're still going to get it. But again, is there anything else that's not in line with helping them to spiritually grow or trying to attach themselves that shouldn't be, that's going to make it a little bit more extra harder? This is a good time for you to be able to do that for them as well. So yeah, that's been, maybe I heard it about 2. So you're about the 3rd person that says that. So for me, that's really confirmation at these times to really make sure that you are doing that. Family members, your divine counterparts as well, because
but ask for permissions,
right?
Because sometimes you take on more than you need to when you do stuff, you think you're doing something right by somebody, but they're supposed to go through something energetically, karmically. So just ask energies, spirit guides, my spirit guides, angels, archangels of me, guides of me. Is it okay to their guides that I put this do this energy protection for them? When you have children and stuff like that, and your twin, you can do it automatically because you're given permissions by the nature. But when it's other people outside of that, I would have a little protocol for myself.
Yeah. For to be able to do that. Yeah. So you're saying not even like family members not to do that? Oh yeah, because I can understand.
You can do it.
I mean, like kids in my classroom, I might have to kind of ask, those things. But I mean, as far as where's the line that you're saying, okay, where'd that come from? Where's the line of scrimmage? Right there, I guess, because she's out there football.
I think you get a
where's the line of scrimmage where you can't do no shield around them? Where does it go?
So you'll start to see within the patternings of after the work that you've done whether or not there's a backlash, because there typically will be a backlash. And if you haven't worked in terms of what I made this video a long time ago, your karma stays with you, my karma stays with me. You say that audibly, you understand that this boundary is line, because sometimes you will pick up other people's karma and stuff that they need to learn if you do not let them learn it themselves, because you're trying to protect them. And it slows down their process. And so universe, God gets upset by that, right? Because they have a divine plan put in place. Maybe you didn't want them to lose their job, but maybe they were supposed to prevent them from such and such a thing happening, right? So it's not about what you want, it's about what God wants. You are the vessel and the work for God. So when you're doing this work for, let's say, your aunt or your uncle, you could just say, is it all right that I put out these energies? You feel, okay, it's good, it's smooth. If this is going to conflict with X, Y, and Z, you feel it. No. And if you don't listen and you do it anyway, you'll find out very shortly.
Very much so, especially a divine. It happens instantaneously within a second. Like, bump. I hit my head going out the door. Oh my God, where'd that come from? I clearly thought I had clearance. So yeah.
Did a flag just fly out from the sky? Where did is that a flag on the plane? I don't think I'm supposed to do
we
that.
get a nanosecond lesson. Bam. Okay, all right. Everybody else, it looks like it takes us a month down the line. But when you're divine, baby, it says, pow.
It's usually softer. Right. It's soft and soft and soft until it's hard and hard and hard. So you've been warned several times. Are you listening, though? Are you listening?
I don't think they even give me no warning. They just like, pow, you know better. Okay.
Okay, so Bonita says, yes, even with the connection Kathy and I have, we still ask our hires before throwing protection up over the other if we haven't spoken in 3D to each other, which is important because you want to give them the choice. Just like you wanted the choice and you are the leader, you chose, so let them have that energetic choice. Because sometimes their higher self of your counterpart needs to kick them in the butt.
Right. Yeah.
And you don't take that energy for them. They have to go through their own process. And that could be part of your lesson too, setting those boundaries and letting it be okay for you to be good and not have to take somebody else's pain to feel better about yourself. Right? Because sometimes we martyr ourselves.
Oh yeah, in the process.
We used to martyr ourselves because we thought that was helpful. But being a broken healer doesn't help unless you're made that way. Like, as I say that because I was born with forceps and pinched a nerve, right? So I will always have this with my arm. I'm open for miracles, I'm just saying. But I was made this way, but that doesn't stop me from healing. For others, right? But I focus on myself first. I don't want to tap myself out. And that was a pattern in the past.
Okay.
Everybody loves it. I was like, Jesus is my homeboy. I love him so much. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't want to put myself on a cross. And we ain't doing nothing.
I want to be like Jesus. No, wait, hold up. Maybe I need to rethink that.
Revise. I'll take Christ consciousness, just not that process.
I want the consciousness. I mean the thinking. I don't want the extra other stuff that go with it. That's what I don't want. I don't want that at all. So is there anything else on your mind? Cause we at the 1:15 mark.
I feel good about it. Kathy D out there with her cute little pineapples on.
Yay! Where we going? Are we getting ready to leave? Where we going? We leaving?
We are done. We lost 61 to nothing.
I'm sorry.
Wow, that was.
I mean, our boys didn't let us down. They haven't won in how many years, guys?
No, it was kind of odd that we got injured that first quarter.
Oh, okay. The medics are saying it's because injured first quarter.
Good people got injured.
Oh, good people got injured.
Yeah.
I mean, they're faithful to their team. They'll give them, So,
all right. Well, you be safe out there, love.
We're faithful.
Yeah, I am driving from Tampa with my little precious cargo. So I'm going to say goodnight here, guys. It was great seeing everybody. Thank you guys for being at the football game with me. And, wishing you guys, wishing you guys best life ever. See you real soon. Night.
And gentlemen, if there is a gentleman there.
You in the dark, but we still can see you.
I think she's going to hang up any second now because her face is frozen.
Okay, I didn't remove it anyway, so whenever she's ready, we'll do it. So she's out of the thing. Yeah, we were wrapping up just in time. I was like, okay, it's 1:15. That's our mark. We're ending. So is there anything as far as anything going on specials or anything on your end? I think for that, no.
I still have my wound healing out there on special.
Okay.
If you'd like the access to the Divine Sunshine group healing, I put that on my website.
Okay.
And it's on special for $333, which is pretty much a straight bargain because
that's a real.
I'm in a state of moving a lot, so I'm in a different type of momentum. But once my momentum gets going for the channel and my services, I'll probably be less and less available, so the prices go up. But I'll keep making sure to put out free content on my YouTube channel as well.
Okay.
So, Golden Lifestyle Unlimited. Check us out.
Right.
And we do have our event coming up.
Right? Yes, we have our event coming up 12/12 at 12 p.m. Central Time, bringing in the divine order into the new year. That is just $12.12. That is what we are doing. We got a lot of great people lined up that's going to be participating. So, of course, the playground experience is going to be there. I'm going to bring a channel message for us to get us ready for divine order for the new year 2021. I know April Williams has something wonderful planned for us. It's about for our bodies and helping us get in tune and alignment for the new year that's coming. And then we got also Kathy D has got some things prepared and ready for us as far as doing that Jedi mind things and getting our mind right and prepared and ready for that. And then we also have Benita. I told you all that's very important. We spoke on her earlier from Wave of a Beautiful Warrior, was telling us about how we could get prepared for this new family and these children that are coming in as well. So Spirit is working with her to come up with something very great. And then we have David from Soul Mission as well, that he has some things that's going to be bringing to us as far as what we need from the Divine Masculine perspective. So, all this stuff, 12/12, real cheap. You got 3 hours of good stuff and good content to help you to get ready for it. And so this is something Spirit and Source had brought to me. And I believe that, again, that's something that's we're talking about transformation and transmuting things. You really need to be there. So go to divineunisouls11.co so you can get your access pass or your ticket to the event, because so we'll really be plugging it in November for you all to do that, and it'll be live here on YouTube. But you have to have the link that give you special access to it. Right now, I'm not doing anything. Right now, I'm trying to work on self and these energies. But you know, of course, I'm giving you all readings, and then also just be on the on my channel just to see. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well about this good stuff that we're putting out in content, and then also for what we're doing here on the playground experience as well. So all right then, April, I was about to say Kathy D, I guess she's in spirit. She already said it. That took us out. All right. So April Williams, get us on out of here.
Stay blessed, stay golden, and remember, you were made for this golden life.
And as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste, namago. Mwah. Love you. All right, then, till next time on the Playground Experience, we'll see ya.